All right, we are live.
Well, hello.
It is I, Joe,
And James.
and you are listening to Productivity and Procrastination. We're just a
Or
couple of,
productivity and procrastination.
what did I say?
Productivity. I don't know which one I like better. I think productivity. Product. I don't. It all sounds weird to me now that I've heard it 14
Yeah, now that
times.
you've pointed it out, it does sound weird. Shit. Anyways, we're just a couple of procrastinators. No, sorry, procrastinators looking to get productive. Productive.
Till we can become productives.
Exactly. Not not pro-reductive, just productive. We're currently working on Project Pancake, and we're learning how to turn from schlubs into cool people.
Yes. What episode is this?
23, he said, pretty assuredly.
Oh, look at this guy. Pretty assuredly, I'm gonna fill in the gaps while you actually figure out the
Yeah.
number.
Yeah, 24. 24.
20. Look at that. 24. We knew what it
We
was.
knew it the whole time.
Well, episode 24. I always like the number 24, you know. The whole 6 and 12 and 24 thing.
24.
I don't know. Something about it. 24 hours in a day.
In the mountain.
Who doesn't like 24?
In the mountain.
So look out for that single that's coming out.
You heard it here first. This is a sneak peek.
So, what have you and that beautiful singing voice of yours done this week, Joe?
Allow me to show you.
Ooh. Visuals. I shall describe these things to our audio listeners.
There is a hefty stack of papers I have worked through this week in drawing. It's all drawings for this week, which is incredible for me.
He thumbed through a notebook.
I did. I thumbed
Didn't
through a
really
notebook.
show anything because it was kind of like in the thin side paper thing
It
we
was
were
not
seeing.
thin side. It was okay. It was a little.
He didn't
but
show
still,
anything,
For me, it's
really.
a lot. Let me count the drawings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14,
Oh, wow.
15, 16 separate drawings.
Okay.
And not only that, I also painted, and
Look at
then
him counting his progress. I love it.
I also worked on for at least 4 to 5 hours. Worked on Project Pancake.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I didn't get as far as I wanted to because I wanted to like finish it all, get it painted, get it colored.
Well,
But
it already sounds impressive, so.
but yeah, so I consider this week a win, even though I didn't complete the objective of getting it all lined out and colored. I did get it pretty much lined out. I'm at the color phase. I haven't started the color phase, but I got it all lined. I had to do a lot of reshaping and reorganizing. But so far, I'm pretty happy with it. I'll have to take a look at it again. But I feel like I've accomplished my goals. I did not draw on Sunday. I don't remember why, but I did not. Or I didn't mark it, I did. At this point, I don't remember, and I don't want to lie. But yeah, other than that, like, I got everything done to a multiplicative degree. Like, the amount of effort that I put forth this week feels like 3 or 4 times the effort I've put in previous weeks.
Wow. Well,
And it's
that's great.
yeah, and I completely blame my able to focus on one thing, which is these goals, and not worrying about my classes, not worrying about the graphic artists volunteer thing I was doing. I was able to focus.
Well, you made that extra time and you said no to those commitments, and then the important thing was is you didn't fill that extra time with crap.
Right.
You seem like you filled it with productive, move you forward kind of activities for the most part. And I think that is the key takeaway is when you do create that extra time, it's what you fill it with.
Yeah.
You made the right decisions. Good job.
I'm very happy with it, and I am. It feels good to be free from it. It feels good that I'm able to separate myself from those commitments so that I do have time for the things that are important to me. Like tomorrow, instead of going to class, I'll be working on this stuff and getting my goals done. Something I did notice is I would like to get more done during the weekend, so that way during the week I can be a little bit lighter, which I was, but I'd like to get a little bit more done during the weekend. Because there was some, if I had worked on it more, if I'd worked on Project Pancake more during the weekend, I think I might have been able to actually get it painted too, or at least get base colors in. But I feel like I'm nitpicking myself where I did a really good job.
Yeah, well, I mean, move forward, and if you can add an extra little bit of time here and there, judging from what you've just said, great. But it does sound like you've made some serious progress, and that's excellent.
For sure.
And I kind of feel like, it's good to hear that you kind of put your stamp of approval on it. That you judged your productivity and you said, you know what, I did great, for what I did this week, I did great. And, I think those little pats on the back are necessary. And it isn't that you're always going to, well, I think in the past you've been reluctant to say that you want to put a positive, you want to judge your week. And but in doing so, you also take away the positives of doing that. I mean, when are you ever going to pat yourself on the back if you can never say you did a good job? And so,
So my retort to that is, it's not about, for me, it's about making sure to celebrate the successes. And it's just when the inverse is true, when you don't do a good job that week, I don't want to focus on it too much, because we want
then don't.
we want the it's a thin line, right? So like, let's say instead of looking at this week like, oh hey, I spent it was part of work too, so I'd say 4 to 5 hours working on Project Pancake, but I didn't get done what I wanted to get done, but I did spend a lot of time doing it. So it's like, I could have looked at that and be like, I didn't accomplish everything on my goal, and that's bad. But with the time spent and the amount of work I did, I consider it a positive thing because of the effort that was put forth. Where it could be negative in the, like, I didn't get it done, or, I didn't get as much done as I did last week. And it's like, it's a slippery slope to put a stamp of approval on it and then compare yourself to, and like, because you're going to start comparing, like, you're going to be like, okay, well, last week I got my stamp of approval. I don't know if I really got it this week, even though I accomplished all my goals because I didn't put as much effort in.
Well, I think that you maybe put a little too much worry or emphasis on the negative side. I mean, every week we meet, we are having that accountability. Why? Because it is important to look at the failures as much as the successes, because we're going to use this information to change the way we are over time. So I don't necessarily think that it's such a bad. I think you might be putting a little too much emphasis on the negative side. Maybe because in the past, people or yourself in has scrutinized yourself, and you've been in a dark place because of that. I don't know,
Tell you why.
Okay, let's hear it.
So the reason why I want to avoid the negative is because I'm viewing these goals and these things as potential habits, as potential ways of incorporating them into our life. And in order to do that, we have to make them feel good and make them feel positive, like positive things. So that way our brain gravitates towards them rather than shying away from them. Basically, I want to build them as a habit.
Well, I mean, I guess that would depend on whether or not you thought the positive spin on everything we do is requirement for a habit, but I guess that is. I mean, I understand where you're coming from with that. I mean, we don't want to do things that suck, but at the same time, we also do things that we have to.
Right. Well, it should still be a rewarding experience, even though we are doing things we have to. Like, there should be some sort of like positiveness that comes out of doing it, or our brains will be like, well, I don't feel good when I'm doing this because I know the outcome is this, or it assumes the outcome is this. It'll make it harder for us to do the things we have to do if we feel like there might be a negative outcome or whatever.
Yeah, well, let's I guess we can explore that with my side of the week.
Okay.
So,
tell me about your week. What'd you have written down?
I had a negative week.
All right.
And just real down, and
do you want to elaborate why, or
I let me just but even though I had a negative week where I was in this state of I don't know that I want to continue anything, I did manage to write more than I've ever wrote. So at least while we've been doing this, I mean, I wrote 2,332 words over the last few days, which is a marginal improvement from the last few weeks total.
That's awesome.
Quite an improvement.
Good job, James.
So there's that. I think in the beginning of the week I struggled with what to write, like which one do I want to write, and then after I couldn't like hone myself in on anything, and I let life happen. Then I was just kind of depressed that I didn't do anything, and then I questioned whether or not I should continue anything, and then so I was going down that road again.
So, and I want to stop you on that. It seems to be a reoccurring thing.
Yeah, exactly. But what I'm trying to get to is the fact that the reoccurring thing is sometimes a necessary thing. Like you need to sometimes see the pattern of negativity before you can do something about it. And so I did. I started writing and just started to jump in and because of that, I was evaluating, all the other things I was doing. I'm like, okay, well, I I believe I need to work more, and I need to potentially cut out a lot of the extra, fun things I do. Because I need to start creating more of the life of this. I mean, it's like I started with, a few hundred words here and there, yada yada, and you start to dip your toes into the life, but you're not really there yet. You're not really in the life. You're making it a little habit, like I am. I'm making it this little habit to get something done. Okay, well, it basically got to the point where I think a lot of the, depressive thoughts were based around the fact that I was skirting the issue. The issue that I know, in order for me to do what I need to do, I need to make it a much bigger part of my life. And I think my mind was negative on that because it knows it needs to give up some things, in order to do that. And so maybe there was that fight, but all those little struggles that we have, the negative thoughts, all these like the fight with our mind of the negative and the positive, I think it's all necessary. And I don't try to hide from it. I know eventually I'll get through it. How I do, sometimes it takes a few days. Sometimes it takes a few weeks, for me to kind of figure out what really is, and they build, like maybe the first week, a little bit is good because that's where I need to be right now. Currently, where I'm at is I need to just... The goal is to eventually just to drown myself in this stuff. Like, for it to be, like, mostly what I love to do. And it is requiring a change. It is requiring for me to give up some things I know.
Like what?
A lot of the gaming. And maybe even limiting the amount of shows that I watch with my family sometimes, like, binge watching some things. I mean, maybe I should limit that a little bit because it does sometimes. If I filled the right stuff in my time, I think all the other stuff would balance out. But, so this last week I felt horrible, even though I got more done by the end of the week.
I have a question. How many, individual days did you do?
I think it was 2.
Okay.
Total.
Is that why you felt horrible, or?
I mean, it was a factor, obviously. And I want to increase that. But at the same time, I got more done, but it's not a part of my life the way I want it to be. So
I feel like you're ruining this for yourself.
If I'm moving forward, I'm not ruining it for myself.
Well, agreed. However, I'm concerned you're going to, for lack of a better term, relapse. You're putting a lot of pressure on yourself to accomplish these goals, to accomplish this state of being, or being this perfect author that you want to be.
Yeah. So.
And it's going to make it so it's hard to accomplish your unachievable goal. And it's going to ruin it for yourself.
My goal is not unachievable, first of all. It is achievable. It's to be a writer who writes. That's not unachievable.
Okay.
Uh, am I constantly pushing myself to get better and better? Yes. Am I working through the state? Yes. But I've not hit the point where I really feel great about what I've done. I feel like I
I want to
am
stop you right there.
in two different lives.
Okay, I think that's a normal progression. Now, I do want to point out that you've written more this week than you have any other week, and the week before that was the same. Like, you are slowly building up momentum.
Exactly. That's
And
why there is a
part of-
positive spin.
Right. And part of these habits and these things is realizing where we could get some more stuff done. And that does include, like, you know, limiting leisure activities, video games, shows, and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I think that's a natural progression. I just think you should look at it as a positive thing, because it feels like it seems as though to me you feel negative about this. And I want it to feel like you're building, you're growing, and that's exciting and fun, as opposed to this like sinking feeling that you're doing a bad job and you should already be doing better, and why are you not doing better yet?
Well, I mean, you know, it comes out a lot very negative, and yes, it is very negative in some ways. But this is positive for me. I don't know if that makes sense. But I mean, the positive point for me this week was I didn't give up. And I'm looking at the positives, and I'm going, okay, well, I did write more, and I think I'm probably past the point where I think I'm just going to give up now.
Okay. So
because I think there was a fight.
I'd like one of your goals to be
to keep my two lives.
One of your goals, I think, should be every time you feel like you're about to give up, like you want to give up, that thought enters your mind, I want you to write down what triggered it. And I want to explore those next week.
Okay.
Because I think it's an important aspect. Like, some people are going to have that feeling of, oh, I want to give up, I want to stop this. And I want to explore why. Are you open to that, or is that too...
I'm open to anything.
Okay. Did you write it down as a goal?
Write it down as a goal.
Yeah.
Write down points of despair and emptiness. All right. And why?
Yeah, like
There
what
we go.
triggered it, basically.
Yeah, I don't know it would be so clearly defined. With me, there are compounding issues. Like, there are a person's life, you know, is a series of years and events and situations, you know, current and past and all these things. And so my current state of where I am as a writer is factoring in all of it at all, you know, when things change, you know, the moment, you know, all of that, you know. For me to say one thing, oh, this is why.
Well, I know.
It's
I mean,
so
I think
simplistic.
it's not going to be. No. And I don't expect it to be a simplistic thing. I want you to talk through like the thought process you had on what caused this
I think
downfall
this whole
of-
process is like it's all part of it. Like this is the current state I'm in. The current state is my whole life experience to this point. Where am I at right now as somebody who'd like to potentially write for a living? I'm to the point where I want to continue. I want to fight, and I am writing. But do I think that I have written this last week the way that I could be writing? No. And so, because there's all the weeks of this added, I have to go, okay, do I really want this? You know, because opportunity wasn't the problem. And so, nice airplane or whatever that is.
Yeah, I live near airport.
Oh, cool. So I have to week by week analyze the reality, you know, because there is this two separate worlds. I have the world where I got plenty of time. I would enjoy loving playing my games and maybe working on my wife's business with her, you know, helping her with that. You know, there's things I would like to do, but there's also things I desire to do. You know, I desire to maybe make a living off of, you know, the creation of ideas and books and things like that. And so I evaluate my week and I go, I didn't do damn thing hardly relative to what I could have done. So what does that mean? You know, do I really want to do it or not? Maybe this is a joke, you know, and then I get to the point where I go, okay, well, I'm just going to sit down, write, and I did. And then you work through that. You write through it, you know, you art through it, and you go, okay, what do I really want? And this week, this moment, this collection of all the minutes of my life, I've concluded that I'm still going to fight and I'm going to move on. And I think this point that I'm at right now is telling me that I need to work harder. And in order to do that, I need to give up a few things. And that's where I'm at this week. Do I feel negative? Do I feel positive? When you talk about it, it sounds so negative because a lot of it was negative, like the negative moments. But ultimately, how do I feel about it right now? I feel pretty good about it. I feel like I'm kind of excited to see what I do, what I change, if I can make a better balance, you know? And so the negative is necessary. The positive may be a little harder to bring out because that might just be the way I speak, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel good. And I know that the amount of words that I put down on page are positive. And so I, you know, how do I feel about the week? I don't have to say not up or down. Not really good or bad. Just kind of, it was a struggle week. But I have a positive outlook. That's
good. So I wanted to. So you kind of did a full circle on that conversation. We started talking about the despair and your goal of writing down what triggered your specific things. Are you still comfortable doing that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm comfortable. Okay. And maybe there is some valuable data there that I could glean.
Yeah,
I'm
and
not
I mean,
opposed to
and yeah, we could
trying.
explore it and learn, and try to figure out like what's going on, if there's anything, but there might not be. Who knows? Um, and then, yeah. So I wanted to talk about, you only wrote 2 of the 3 days, and I do remember one of your goals was to increase that from 3 to 4 or higher.
Hmm.
What stopped you from writing on the other 2 days, or other 5 or other 4 days?
Well, I feel like I put a pretty good detail of all that, but um, the compounding of everything,
Yeah.
the way you feel moment by moment, the days where you want to play a game and nobody's on, the days where just life happens, the days you feel like you know, have to do things you don't want to do, you know, life. And I need to be in command of my life. You know, I need to make the balance of everything flow well, where I need to have hope for all these things.
Yeah.
And I think the big thing is making the moments to sit down and when I come up with little ideas about how I should orient my time, like, oh, I need to get up and then immediately write, get up and do this and that. It's you observe yourself when you don't listen to it. You're like, okay, this week went by. How many times did I wake up and write? None. So then you go, okay, that theory you had on yourself where, oh, you know what, I think it's best if I, actually get up and write immediately, like right in the morning. And you see the data over the period of the week where you didn't do any of it. You're like, okay, well, I think it's more correct than I thought. So it's like I test things by not doing them. It's like okay, how true is this really? You really think this is gonna help you? Okay, well, let's do the opposite for a week or two and see if it really matters. And then once I agree with the fact that it probably would have helped, then it's like my brain goes, okay, well, I guess now we'll change your life. And you can do that because I guess it does matter. So it's like I test things by reversing it on myself. It's weird.
I do want to commend you again for writing, more than twice what you've written before?
Probably. I could do the exact math.
That's pretty awesome. Good job, James.
Thanks. Anything else you want
to... What goals do you have written down for this week other than... I want to talk about our...
Other than talking about my triggers and my days and my word count.
You have your, the days written out?
I think that I would want to add... that I want to put down the amount of days where I write when I get up.
Okay.
And I'm fresh. Yeah, there's a difference in your faculties when you've well rested and when you are not.
James, you still have faculties? I would also be open to, if you're feeling like it, work on some storyboarding. So something I'm considering is motivation through work. Like, if we worked on storyboarding, it might make you feel more connected with the Pancake project. And I mean, it's just good to get more stuff done. And we could just storyboard all the way through Pancake on a weekly basis or semi-weekly basis.
Yeah, I thought you were against that, Joe. I mentioned that to you a while back. You said you wanted to work on getting your first few pages getting caught up and didn't want to. So
Well,
now you want to change that?
well, so here's my thoughts on it, right? There's a hair that's just driving me crazy, whatever. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to look at myself. It's easy for me to stay connected to the Pancake Project because that's my every time I go to work, every time I'm working on our project, that's what I'm working on. Right now, you don't have anything to write towards the Pancake Project.
That's true.
And so like I feel as though you might be a lot more disconnected from the Pancake Project than I am, whereas
You are
working on it
correct.
every week. And so I think it'd be a good idea if we started storyboarding again and get reconnected with the Pancake Project too. Not only that, but also get product progress done on Project Pancake.
Yeah. Let's decide to do it starting next week. I want to see what I can change this week, and I don't want to add another variable in there.
Okay.
So give me a week, and then after that, I think that would be good.
Okay. So my goals this week are to draw daily, finish page 2, which I think I should be able to do this week, which is very exciting. I want to draw other stuff. If I don't get it finished, it'll be so close to finished, or we'll have to do some changes because I'll show it to you and be like, this looks dumb, fix that. And then I have draw other stuff, and I want to paint at least 2 times this week. I've only painted about once a week. I want to try doing 2 times this week. Oh, you want to see something cool?
Yes.
So this houses all my paints and my palette, so I can put the paints, all my paint brushes, and so I can just take it wherever I want. It's very exciting. I haven't taken it anywhere. I have no idea where I would take it. But
It is a nice gray container-looking satchel-type thing for those that cannot see.
yeah, it's a gray satchel box. It's kind of like a lunchbox, but a bigger lunchbox.
Looks cool.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got goals. You've written down your goals, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have to fight you every week, I feel like, to write down your goals.
I feel like he invades my goals.
I what?
He invades my goals.
I invade your goals?
Right. Invading.
How do you invade your goals?
I don't know. Leave your comments.
All right. If you're listening to this, tell us how I'm invading James's goals. Okay. Other than that, I think I'm good to schmo. I don't have anything to talk about other than I do feel like this last week where I was able to have more time to myself, like be freed from other obligations, did give me, I feel, the mental energy to actually focus on working on stuff because I didn't feel paralyzed. Clearly, I didn't feel paralyzed. I did a lot this week. And I'm hoping to continue that amount of work that I did last week to this week. I'm excited. All right. Well then, if there's nothing else, then you want to close out with a cool witty saying?
I don't know about this whole cool witty saying ending thing, but sometimes you need to work through the downs in order to get to a better place.
Yeah, I think that's good. I don't think I need to change up anything. So thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.